This week's COT report shows a continuation of a trend, confirmed by three very different markets. And the macroeconomic implications, well, they are a reason for concern. The COT report, Commitment of Traders, issued weekly by the CFTC. It shows positions in the futures markets held by the largest traders and institutions out there. It indicates market sentiment, where the big players are, bullish or bearish, their trends, possible changes in the trend, or following the smart money, the most experienced traders and institutions out there. Now, we're watching in particular two major categories, although there are more: asset managers and dealers. Asset managers are money managers. They're trend following. They tend to move in the same direction as long-term trend. The dealers are taking sometimes the other side of the trade because as their clients go long, they may take a short position. But for our purposes, we like to watch the asset managers. Those are the ones that really indicate the trend. Now, we're watching a number of different markets. We're not going to talk all about them because, well, there's a lot, but we're going to show you the most interesting developments. Now, take a look at asset managers in particular, and it's very easy to read. The green bars show us their net long positions. Purple, short positions. Those are the money managers, the asset managers. We also consider the dealers. Their long positions are in blue, short in red. Well, let's start with the US dollar because that seems to be the most interesting currency lately. And this is updated here on a monthly basis. And we can see over time in January, that large green bar, they were very much long the US dollar, the money managers. Their long positions have declined until really now they're more short than long. The purple bars are higher than the green bars. But on a weekly basis, because this is reported on a weekly basis, let's go down to the granular level and see, well, the long positions have pretty much stayed pat. Those green bars at 3,300 for this week and last week, respectively. But the short positions, those long purple bars, they've increased from 8,800 and 9,100. So the US dollar, which the money managers, the asset managers are already short, they're adding to the short position. They're more short than they were before, indicating they believe the trend will continue lower. Well, as the dollar goes down, other assets go up. One in particular is Bitcoin. Now, notice that the green bars on a monthly basis have fluctuated. They're more or less long to the same degree. But we drill down to the granular level over here, and we can see on a weekly basis something very unusual with Bitcoin that the other markets do not show us right now. Both on the asset manager side and the dealer side, they're long. The green bars, the June green bars, 8,600 versus the purple, zero point 0.4. And on the purple bars, those are the dealer long positions. They're also long, 12,000 versus short, 4,700. So again, what's different about this chart than any of the others we're going to talk about is that Bitcoin, they're long on the asset manager side and the dealer side. It's not something that happens very often, but when it does, it certainly is reason to believe that this market's going to continue higher. Now let's switch our attention to some commodities. And again, we're going to point out the most interesting developments. In particular, take a look at gold on a monthly basis. The blue bars show us the long positions. In May, the long positions did come down quite a bit. We would think, well, they're still net long. The blue bars are higher than the red bars, but certainly to a lesser extent. By the way, on the commodity side, we use different terminology. We don't use asset managers, we use money managers in blue and red. In terms of the commercials, those are what we would consider to be the dealers, but they serve the same purpose. The commercials are denoted in green and pink. Notice the increase, the long blue bars. Last week, 148,000. This week, 160,000. And the shorts declined by 1,000 as well. Now, if you recall, on a monthly basis, the May data did show us a decline. It looks like so far in June, we only have one update so far, but so far in June, they're getting long more metals. And that makes sense with a declining dollar. When the dollar goes down, metals go up. Bitcoin does too. Here's silver, and same situation. Long blue bars show us the money managers are long, but they start to pare back on their long positions. If you look at the May data, they would say, well, maybe they're going to, dump all the long positions. But the weekly update on silver, 59,000 this week versus last week's 49,000. And this is pretty significant. Silver, it's liquid. It's a very large commodity, not as much as gold though. So this is a pretty significant development. And notice also their money manager short positions denoted in red, they declined as well. But that's not all. Let's take a look at another metal, copper. Well, the long positions look like the same pattern. They were declining through May. But in June, it looks like we also have a slight uptick. So really interesting to see three different markets all telling us the same message. In foreign exchange, dollar, the shorts are increasing. And as the shorts increase, meaning we think the dollar is going to go down more, other assets that tend to benefit from a weak dollar, like Bitcoin, gold and silver, and copper, they're all rising. Now, what's the takeaway from all this? Well, it's good if we're long Bitcoin or silver, etc. But gold and silver really don't go up under healthy economic conditions. So we should be concerned from a macroeconomic point of view, maybe not immediately, but over the long term, if this pattern continues, a weak dollar and surging metals, well, that is usually not consistent with strong economic conditions. If you're curious about this COT report, we have a playlist called Commitment of Traders, and we have a lot more detail saved in that playlist as well. We hope this has been helpful. We look forward to seeing you back soon.